Happy Tuesday. Before we get started on Because and Winn Dixie, I want to go over your daily assignments with you. So I'm going to pull the screen to the side so that you can see your assignment list. So the first big thing for this morning is at 10 o'clock we have our office hours. And I keep reminding you that you do not have to have a specific question to join office hours. So just come on in. You have the link right here, so all you have to do is go ahead and click that, and it's always great to just see the faces of your classmates and to kind of listen to questions that they have and hear what my response is. So always a good idea to join this. So if you scroll down and look at grammar for today, grammar is a review of what we've been working on. So you've been working on those suffixes and the rules of suffixes that you went over yesterday. So silent E, you take away the E and add the EZ ending, change the Y to an I, and then double the final consonant when there's a short vowel sound followed by a consonant. So I actually assigned you an activity that I created on Seesaw. So you're going to go ahead and go into that Seesaw activity, and I gave you a base word, and then I gave you a suffix, and you need to write what the new word is using whatever rule it is that we worked on, and then write a sentence using that new word in the sentence. Okay, so if I gave you the word, for example, bike, and I wanted you to add an ing, you would take away the E, add that ing, so your new word would be biking, and then you're going to write a sentence with the word biking in it. And you can either use the typing tool, the T, or the pen, okay? And I know that typing text box can be a little bit tricky, so you can always just go ahead and use the pen to write in. Let's see, for your digital journal, you're completing the next slide, which is slide 7 in that. And I reminded you yesterday that today's journal page asks about what you think your life is going to be like post-quarantine. So remember, post means after. So what do you think that you're going to change? So I have an example here. It's just a photo. It's not a video. So you can click it and see what my entry looks like. Reading today, you are going to continue reading the book that you chose for your book report, but today you're going to focus on the setting. So we know that the setting is the time and place where the story occurs, but I really want you to dig a little deeper into that. We're almost 4th graders, so I want you to be really descriptive when you describe the setting. So it's not just it's at a school or the book takes place at a park. I want to know when. I want to know about the weather. I want to know about the climate. And I want to know all those details to make it even stronger. So instead of just saying it was a winter day, you can say it was a cold, foggy, stormy winter day, right? So this is going to be your rough draft, those at least 5 sentences that you're writing to describe the setting. That's going to be your rough draft for when you actually do your final draft of your book report that you'll be getting in your packet on Wednesday. Okay, there's a video here if you need a little review about setting. So writing, the character analysis of Charlotte, you are going to continue the paragraph that we started yesterday where you introduced the topic and stated your opinion. And then now you need to go into your evidence. And if you look back at your Google document for that, you had to choose whether you thought she was more hardworking or kind. Not both, just one or the other. So I need to see your 3 pieces of evidence to support that, and then your closing. And I wrote this on a lot of your documents. A lot of you did not follow this structure that I have right here. It's really important that you follow this. I have this here for you for a reason. So you need to go in and you're going to write, first, I know that Charlotte is kind or hardworking because, and then tell me the evidence. Additionally, finally, and this conclusion set in. So I want you to use this structure right here that I have for you so that you know kind of what it is that I'm looking for so that you can be more independent with it later. Math, you are doing lesson 4 today, and the objective is I will find the area of objects using different sized square units. And then last is your social studies. So you're going to go to the Constitution or back to that Constitution page. I have your video here that you're going to watch. So that's your source, and then 3 facts. I know you guys are experts at this by now. And I think that I was missing a page for this. So if you're missing that page, just go ahead and you can do it on notebook paper. Okay? So on that note, we are going to go ahead and start reading chapter 24 of Because of Winn-Dixie. And if you remember where we left off that Winn-Dixie was lost after the party and that there was thunder and lightning. So they were really nervous because they know how scared he is and that he ran off somewhere, and Opal's afraid that she's not going to be able to find him, okay? Me and the preacher started walking and calling Winn-Dixie's name. I was glad it was raining so hard because it made it easy to cry out. I cried and cried and cried, and the whole time I was calling for Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie, I screamed. Winn-Dixie, the preacher shouted. And then he whistled loud and long, but Winn-Dixie didn't show up. We walked all through downtown. We walked past the Dewberry's house and the Herman W. Black Memorial Library, and Sweetie Pie's yellow house and Gertrude's pets. We walked out to the Friendly Corners trailer park, and we looked underneath our trailer. We walked all the way out to the Open Arms Baptist Church of Naomi. We walked past the railroad tracks and right on down Highway 50. Cars were rushing past us, and their tail lights glowed red like mean eyes staring at us. Daddy, I said. Daddy, what if he got run over? Opal, the preacher said, we can't worry about what might have happened. All we can do is keep looking. We walked and walked, and in my head, I started on a list of 10 things that I knew about Winn-Dixie, things I could write on big old posters and put up around the neighborhood, things that would help people look for him. Number 1 was that he had a pathological fear of thunderstorms. Number 2 was that he liked to smile using all his teeth. Number 3 was he could run fast. Number 4 was that he snored. Number 5 was that he could catch mice without squishing them to death. Number 6 was he liked to meet people. Number 7 was he liked to eat peanut butter. Number 8 was he couldn't stand to be left alone. Number 9 was he liked to sit on couches and sleep in beds. Number 10 was he didn't mind going to church. I kept on going over and over the list in my head. I memorized it the same way I memorized the list of 10 things about my mama. I memorized it so if I didn't find him, I would have some part of him to hold on to. But at the same time, I thought of something I'd never thought of before. And that was that list of things couldn't even begin to show somebody the real Winn-Dixie. Just like the list of 10 things about my mama couldn't ever get me to know her. And thinking about that made me cry even more. Me and the preacher looked for a long time, and finally he said we had to quit. But Daddy, I said, Winn-Dixie's out there somewhere. We can't leave him. Opal, the preacher said, we have looked and looked, and there's only so much looking we can do. I can't believe you're giving up, I told him. India, Opal, the preacher said, rubbing his nose, don't argue with me. I stood and stared at him. The rain had let up some. It was mostly a drizzle now. It's time to head back, the preacher said. No, I told him. You go ahead and go, but I'm going to keep on looking. Opal, the preacher said in a real soft voice, it's time to give up. You always give up, I shouted. You're always pulling your head inside your stupid old turtle shell. I bet you didn't even go out looking for my mama when she left. I bet you just let her run off too. Baby, the preacher said. I couldn't stop her. I tried. Don't you think I wanted her to stay too? Don't you think I miss her every day? He spread his arms out wide and then dropped them to his sides. I tried, he said. I tried. Then he did something I couldn't believe. He started to cry. The preacher was crying. His shoulders were moving up and down, and he was making snuffling noises. And don't believe that losing Winn-Dixie doesn't upset me as much as it does you, he said. I love that dog. I love him too. Daddy, I said. I went and wrapped my arms around his waist. He was crying so hard he was shaking. It's all right, I told him. It's okay. Shh, I said to him like he was a scared little kid. Everything will be okay. We stood there hugging and rocking back and forth, and after a while, the preacher stopped shaking, and I still held on to him. And I finally got the nerve to ask the question I wanted to ask. Do you think she's ever going to come back? I whispered. No, the preacher said. No, I do not. I've hoped and prayed and dreamed about it for years, but I don't think she'll ever come back. Gloria says you can't hold on to anything, that you can only love what you've got when you've got it. She's right, the preacher said. Gloria Dump is right. I'm not ready to let Winn-Dixie go, I said. I'd forgotten about him for a minute, what with thinking about my mama. "We'll keep looking," said the preacher. "The two of us will keep looking for him. But do you know what? I just realized something, India Opal. When I told you your mama took everything with her, I forgot one thing. One very important thing that she left behind." "What?" I asked. "You," he said. "Thank God your mama left me you." And he hugged me tighter. "I'm glad I've got you too," I told him, and I meant it. I took hold of his hand, and we started walking back into town, calling and whistling for Winn, Dixie the whole way. So we only had 2 chapters left, so this video was getting a little bit long. I wanted to read the next one, but we'll save that for tomorrow, all right? So have a great day, and I will see you all at 10 o'clock on Zoom. Bye, everyone.